Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Bar. Last week we had my wife Jessica, who was a home barista and pretty much didn't have any professional experience. It kind of just came from the love of the game, where she wanted to invest more at home and started working on that and branching out from there and really elevating that experience to bring the cafe home. For today's episode, we're going to be interviewing Natalia. She is a barista at Tend Coffee, a local coffee shop here in San Antonio. She's going to share some insights. She's going to share some stories, give advice to people that are also wanting to join the community. We hope you enjoy today's episode. We have Natalia. She is a close friend of mine and my wife's, one of the worship leaders at our church, and she's also a barista at Tend Coffee. And so, for listeners who haven't met you yet, tell us a little about yourself and what you do at Tend.
Yeah, a little bit about me. I love coffee. I haven't always loved coffee, but I've always been like into the field, but honestly, like coffee field was very intimidating. It used to freak me out. And then when I started working at Tend, I was like, okay, this is a good way to like train and learn without it being so high stakes and intense. Especially specialty coffee, because I feel like the intro is always like a Starbucks or like, a chain. So when I started working at Tend, I was like, hey, this is fun. This is good.
Before you worked in coffee, what was your relationship with coffee like?
Yeah, so like I said, super like it was super intimidating. I would drink coffee. Honestly, it was more of a sweet treat thing than like an everyday ritual thing. I've always wanted to be in the field, like in the mix of like specialty coffee.
I think Jess had a similar answer to that whenever I interviewed her for the first episode. She's like, "Yeah, coffee was
Yeah.
just," and I think that's the same for me too. Like, I would go to Starbucks and always get their double chocolate chip. I was like, "Oh, this is
Yeah,
coffee." It
yeah.
was not. What was the moment you realized coffee could be more than just coffee?
I would say like once I started working at Tend, it was like, okay, there was so much intention that went behind, like, an espresso shot, the milk texture, like, all these different things, even, like, as simple as, like, okay, simple syrup versus vanilla syrup versus, all these different things that I was like, "Oh, shoot, okay, so this is, like, serious business." It's not just like, just yeah, toss it in. Like, to have a quality cup takes a lot of intention.
How did you end up becoming a barista?
So I was, like, going to church and then, um, our pastors decided to open up a shop and they were like, "Hey, wanna work here?" And I was like, "Okay." And then honestly, it was, like, a good 6 to 8 months of just, like, working, like, once or twice a week, nothing crazy. And then basically when they were, like, on the road for hiring, it was like, "Okay, I'm there, I'm trying espresso," even though I didn't like espresso at the time. Like, I really just wanted to, like, learn the culture of like, okay, why do we drink this? Why do we do this? Why is it
Mm.
like cooler to have a straight cappuccino versus like a caramel cappuccino, you know? So then I just kind of was doing that in that like 6 to 8 month process. And then once it was like they were looking to hire, I was like, I think I'm down. And so yeah.
Just remembering that period of time, I know a lot of people were gunning for it. They're like, "I want to work at
Yes.
it." And
Yes.
you're one of the faces that Tend.
Or no,
You and
yes,
Maddie,
yeah.
yeah, people like when people think of Tend, they either think of you or they think of Maddie. What surprised you most when you started working as a barista?
I would say one, like the amount of, I guess, energy that you bring really affects like the space. Because I used to think like, oh yeah, I guess it makes sense because like yeah, when you go into a space where, like, the barista's energy is just, like, off or, like, they just don't wanna be there, you can kinda feel that, but then when you're
Mhm.
the barista, it's like, "Oh, shoot, yeah." Like, I gotta be on, I gotta be ready to, like, just socialize with people, even if I'm not
Yeah.
feeling it, like, that was one thing that I was like, "Oh gosh, okay, you gotta be, like, a social person."
I know the times I've helped at the shop and it's just me and you, and it's just like after a rush, you're like, okay, I don't want to talk to
You're
anyone
cool.
for like
Yeah,
5 minutes.
yes.
And then like 10 more people walk through the door. You're just like,
Bro, literally, you have to, like, pep talk yourself, be like, "Alright,
yeah.
hi, good morning." Like, it's yeah.
What's something customers assume about baristas that isn't actually true?
I think that it's easy or, like, that you just press buttons and it's fine. Like, you just you it's kinda all set up for you, and you just do your thing, and it's like, whatever, you're just standing here. Like, I think there's a lot obviously, if you want it to be that, it can be, like, there's shops out there where it's literally just press buttons and it's fine. But, I think, like, when you work in specialty coffee and specifically, like, with or for someone that, like, values every cup, then there's so much intention behind it, and also just in general, like, you're stocking things, you're carrying things, you're on your feet all day, like, I think people just think it's like, "Oh, that's an easy gig," and it's like, "Yeah, kind of," but at the same time, like, you are working, like, you know?
What is the hardest part of the job that people don't see?
It's kinda twofold. I would say, like, physically, it would be, like, you're kind of always keeping track of, like, inventory. You gotta stock things. When you get milk orders, you're loading that thing in the fridge. Like, that physically is a lot, and usually you're doing that, like, with either 2 people on bar, so it's like, "Let me run back and, like, load that in, and then I'll help you with the rush," or you're by yourself, and it's like, "Wait, let me just do this, like, little vibe here where you're just, like, running back the equipment. Like, the equipment can be funky sometimes, and it's like you're in a rush and people are impatient, like, waiting, and you're taking, like, 5-minute lunch break, and people are like, "I gotta go to work." And it's just, like, the juggle of, like, I'm, like, trying to get you a good cup, but also, juggling, like, customer service, and then you're just like, "Oh my gosh." It can be stressful.
Can you share a memorable customer interaction?
I guess a sweet moment was, like, a lady was having a bad day. You kinda do, like, the regular, I feel like it's low key like a routine, like, you just kinda know what to say. It's like, "Hey, good morning. How are you? How we doing?" And she was kinda like, okay." And it was like, "Oh." And I didn't really know what to say after that, like, you're just kinda like, oh, man. I'm sorry." And then she, like, low key just started crying. I was like, "Oh, man." But it was kinda sweet because she was just like it's someone that I've seen multiple times, I've had multiple chats with, and so it's honestly and it's like small talk, but at the same time, you're like, "Oh, it's a friendly face," like, I love to see when she comes in, and, just to see her like that was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." And she didn't, like, say what it was, but she asked for a hug, and, like, yeah, just giving her a hug, and it was like she just said it made her day, and then she came back, like, 2 weeks later, and she was with a friend. She was telling her friend, like, "I was having a really rough day." I asked for a hug, she gave me a hug, it was really sweet, and so it was just, like, a sweet, memorable moment where I'm like, "Okay, it was uncomfortable, yes, it was stretching, yes, but it was also like, it's crazy how, like, a barista can, like, make someone's day, or, like, you just don't know what she was going through, and something as simple as, like, "Oh, yeah, for sure, I'll give you a hug." That I think, like, the fact that she, like, comes back and then tells, like, multiple people about that experience, I'm like, "Oh, that's really sweet." Did I almost cry a bit, like, awkwardness after? Yes, I did, but it was memorable.
What is one thing that customers do that instantly makes your day better?
I would say patience. Like, I think when people even just in, like, the, "Hey, how are you?" Like, sometimes it's like, "Hey, I'll be with you in, like, one moment," and just someone being like, "No, for sure, take your time." It's like, "Oh, thank you. I appreciate that." And then on the other side as well, when it's just like, "Hey, we're working on your drink. We're doing the best we can." And just someone that's like, "No, absolutely, no worries." Like, I appreciate that because I get that people are, like, in a rush or have things to do. I get that. But I think when someone's patient and, like, just kindness, like, goes a long way because 'cause we're dealing with people all day. And when someone's like, "Thank you so much, I really appreciate it." It's like, "Okay, thank you. This is why we're here."
So the purpose of this podcast is for people that are wanting to get into specialty coffee and that are like beginners. So for those who are just wanting to get into specialty coffee, what's the first thing that you think they should focus on?
Focus on why espresso is important and why milk texture is important and why, like, say you're drinking a pour over and you're, like, figuring out tasting notes, like, why it's important for the
Mm.
temperature to be 200 degrees or whatever, whatever, whatever. Why you have to kind of like do ratios and do that. I would say that is like the first things first to focus on because I think the temptation is like, oh, focus on all these other cool aspects and like, let me taste the cherry in it or whatever. And it's like, you're honestly not going to get that if you don't know like why or how to get there, if that makes sense.
Like the why, it's important. Why do things happen? Having understanding makes it just better to gives you more perspective, I think, too.
Yeah.
I know not that long ago you got a machine at home, you kind of did a little upgrade. So now that you work at a shop, you also have things going on at home. But what's the biggest mistake that beginners make when they're trying to improve their coffee at home?
I would say my biggest mistake was I would invest in beans before investing in equipment. So, like, I had a terrible grinder, but I have good quality beans, and then I would waste them and be like, "Why doesn't it taste like the shop?" And the reality is, like, it's not going to taste like the shop because your grinder sucks. So, I think the biggest mistake in, like yeah, and, like, home barista is like, "Oh, I'm gonna get the cheapest thing," but then, like, splurge on, like, "Oh, I tried this bean," or, like, "Oh, this milk is like fire," or I'm gonna make syrups at home," but it just never quite, like, reaches the quality of, like, a cafe, and that's honestly just because of the equipment is not there.
So the next person I'm gonna be interviewing is gonna be Marcos. I guarantee he's in back grinder. He's like, you need to get you know, get the grinder. Word for word, bar for bar, flow for flow. What's one coffee myth or misconception you wish would disappear?
That is pretentious, low-key. It's not. I feel like anybody could get into it. It's kinda like you have to be, like, a fancy person or, like, a cool like, you have to have a developed palate to be into, like, specialty coffee. The reality is, like, you really don't. You can develop a palate, you can develop, like, all of those things. I feel like you could just learn, but it does take time and, like, intentionality to learn, and honestly, just challenging yourself because espresso by itself is gross when you first start.
What's one piece of equipment for coffee that people think they need but probably don't?
I think, like, a lot of people will go for, like, the fancy espresso machine, and I get that, okay? But I do think there are affordable espresso machines that if you get a good grinder, you can have a good cup. I think first intro, people will be like, "I need a La Marzocco," and it's like, "No, you really could do it on a Breville, but just invest in a good grinder." You
Mhm.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Because I mean, Jess and I had hundreds, if not thousands, of great cups of coffee on
Yes.
our Breville. And
Yes.
then we decided, like, we had that thing for over 5 years before we
Yes.
decided to upgrade, and even at that, picking which machine to upgrade to, there was options we thought about going
Yeah.
with here, but we just decided to, like, go send it, full send.
No, for sure. Yeah.
What's one small change someone can make today that would noticeably improve their coffee?
I would say a grinder. I hate to say. I hope
No,
everybody's gonna
don't
say
hate to say it, I mean, speak your truth.
'cause it genuinely changed the game for me. I was like, "Oh, this is" even, like, a good quality hand grinder, it's like
Mhm.
for pour overs, I'm like, "Oh, that's why you get like, you spend a little extra." So
Yeah.
it's worth it.
You're also a singer-songwriter. I know we've played some of your songs in the shop, or at least one. Do you
Yes.
see any connection between coffee and creativity?
Yeah, for sure. I think, both are, like, super creative. Like, honestly, you're kind of crafting something that is for a specific people, I guess, with a specific palette, even like music is. So I think that they're very similar.
Does working in a coffee shop influence your songwriting or creative process?
A little bit because I think when you're in like a coffee shop, you're constantly, like, socializing, hearing people's stories. Then it's also on the flip side, like, if it's a chill day, you're kind of in your mind, and it's not like it's like a job where you're, like, on the computer constantly doing something. With coffee, like, you are, but you're also just working with your hands, and so you can get lost in your own thoughts, and I think that's, like I guess that's helpful for music.
I think that those slow days, and I know especially with the intentionality behind tennis, like, coffee and slow days, just really like taking your time to enjoy things. I know Nikki and Maddie really have wanted to be a place for like creativity and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Are there any similarities that you see between learning music and learning coffee?
For sure. I feel like I said, they're both, like, very creative, and I think both of them, it's like anybody could do it, but not everybody could do it well. And they honestly, they both take discipline and being uncomfortable. Like you're learning to play the guitar, it's uncomfortable. Your fingers hurt. You're like, dude, I don't want to bar. This sucks. But at the same time, like you push yourself so that you can get to a level where you're solid. And I would say, like, latte art whenever you're just like, "Oh, I keep doing it and it sucks and it's, like, making me so upset." But you push yourself till you get to a level where you're, like, doing swans.
Have you ever had a creative breakthrough while working at the shop?
There's been moments where you're, like, chilling at work, and I guess because music is playing all the time,
Mm.
where you kinda just start, like, doing your own little ad libs to it, and then sometimes it's like, "Wait, let me write that down."
And someone's just there waiting at the bar. They've been waiting for like half an hour for the drink. You're just
Voice memoing, like, "Hold on. And I would do that.
if it's me or Jess, it's okay.
Yeah,
We'll
I'll do
wait. We're patient. Some closing questions, some rapid fire questions. What is your favorite drink right now?
vanilla cappuccino with a little bit of vanilla, like, half sweet. Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Mm, I know
So
that's
good.
Jess's like go to, but lately
Yeah.
Jess hasn't been getting any in her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's kinda like how I was vanilla all the way, and then I was like, "No, straight." And then the other day, I accidentally had a vanilla latte, and I was like, "Yo, that's fire." So then I had a vanilla cap, like, half sweet, and I was like, "Oh, this is solid."
hey, maybe I'll get a vanilla cap next time I'm at the shop.
Let's do it.
What's one coffee trend that you don't understand?
A shot of espresso and Coca-Cola. I tried it, and I did not understand.
I'm scared to try it.
It was not the vibe for me. I was traumatized. But, like, people love that, and I'm like, "Why are we" like, I was so excited to try it, and that was rough stuff.
Ooh,
Mhm.
okay, maybe I will try it. Maybe I will. If a listener visits a specialty coffee shop this week, what's one drink or experience you'd encourage them to try?
Mm, I think in every, like, specialty coffee shop, if they don't have a solid vanilla latte, iced or hot, it's not gonna be a solid shop. I will say always give, like, a cappuccino a try, or if it's, like, a international shop, I would say a flat white because I yeah. It's a lighter t milk texture, it's
Yeah.
better. But, yes, I would say, like, always give a cap a try, always give a vanilla latte, iced or hot a try.
Nice. Those are great, great choices. I think that's the same standard Jess does her judging for coffee shops. If you could give one piece of advice to someone who feels intimidated by specialty coffee, what would it be?
Go to places that are welcoming because I think that's the hardest part is you go to, like, certain places that are pretentious. And it can be intimidating and then you're just like, I'm out. I can't do it. I would say like there's a lot more shops that are like local, really kind people own, run it, work there. And I would say like stick with a place, like go there once a week, try something like low key become a regular somewhere. And then from there you branch out. But I think also just like ask questions low key. Cause people that genuinely love coffee are like happy to answer questions about anything specialty coffee.
Yeah, no. From our experience, I mean, that was us with Mila. We got to know Marcos at Mila, which is not the Marcos we're interviewing, different one.
Yes. Different markers.
I mean, I'm sure if I asked him, he probably would have been down. Getting to know him, the fact that just but going consistently, establishing that connection, started building the community and the confidence to go and branch out to other shops, and then we started visiting Stranded, and like we got to know the owners there, and then
Yeah.
of course, we knew Nikki and Manny from church for Tend, and now we're getting to know Marcus, another Marcus.
Yes,
You
yeah.
from
Medina.
Ladue River,
Yeah.
and he's been really welcoming. We haven't stepped foot in that shop in years, but he's been really welcoming. And
Yeah, he's really sweet.
like those are all the questions I had today, Natalia. Thank you so much for spending some time with us and just giving us some insight on being behind the bar. And
Absolutely. Thank
love
you.
you back another time.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And that was today's episode with Natalia. She shared some really great tips and just some stories, giving some insight behind the curtain of working at a cafe and some of the things that go on there. If you want to hear more from her, you can follow her on her socials or just stop by 10 Coffee. She's there pretty much most of the week when they're open. Swing by, say hi, tell her that you watched the episode, and tune in for the next episode where we're going to have one of my coffee mentors, Marcos. He's one of the biggest home enthusiasts I know. I always go to him for advice or recommendations. So somebody I definitely look up to and has a lot of valuable information. So stay tuned for that episode.